The outpost floated quietly on the edge of the galaxy, a silver structure of shining metal and glowing lights, almost forgotten by everyone except the few aliens who worked there. It was a medical station, meant to care for travelers and creatures injured in space. Inside, the air was cold and sterile, filled with the soft hum of machines. Aliens in strange uniforms moved efficiently, speaking in clicks and tones, their eyes never showing emotion. On this day, something unusual arrived. The doors of the medical bay hissed open, and a transport drone slowly lowered a crate. Inside was a creature unlike anything the aliens had ever seen. It was large, with long, twisted horns and scales that shimmered in dark shades of green and black. Its eyes were round and intelligent, but something about them made the alien medics uncomfortable. The dragon hissed softly, curling its wings and trembling. It was hurt badly, its body marked with deep scratches and bruises, and a faint smoke-like mist rose from its nostrils. The alien medics crowded around, their long fingers twitching as if afraid to touch it. One of them spoke, the voice sharp and cold, "It is not safe. This creature, it is cursed. It brings bad luck and disease. We cannot treat it." Another nodded quickly, adding, "Yes. Leave it. It is not meant to live among us. Let it die." The dragon made a small, weak sound, almost a whisper, and it looked at them with wide eyes, as if pleading for help. The medics recoiled. They were skilled in treating countless species, yet this one made them uneasy. Its strange, almost human-like expressions, its trembling body, and its deep, low hiss were enough to make them step back. Then a human walked into the room. He was tall and lean, wearing a faded uniform that marked him as a medic and explorer. His dark hair was messy from travel, and his green eyes scanned the scene carefully. This was Elias Vorn. Unlike the aliens, he did not seem afraid. Instead, he walked slowly toward the crate, observing the dragon without judgment. "Why are you leaving it?" he asked, his voice calm but firm. The aliens turned toward him, their expressions hard. One clicked, a sound that meant warning, "It is dangerous. It will attack anyone who touches it. We have studied its species, they are unpredictable. We cannot risk our lives for it." Elias crouched beside the crate and studied the dragon closely. Its body was small for its kind, probably young, but its injuries were serious. Its scales were cracked, one wing bent at an awkward angle, and the faint smoke rising from its nostrils told him that its lungs were damaged. Its eyes, however, followed his movements carefully, and he felt something unusual, a connection, a spark of intelligence and fear. "I can help it," he said simply. "It needs care, not fear." The aliens exchanged uneasy glances. None of them moved. One finally hissed, "Humans are reckless. They do not understand danger. This creature is wrong. Leave it." But Elias did not leave. He pulled a small device from his belt and scanned the dragon's injuries. He noted the deep scratches, the bent wing, and the shallow breathing. He could see it was in pain. The dragon watched him, its tail flicking nervously, unsure if he was friend or foe. "Easy, easy," he whispered. "I'm not here to hurt you." He extended a hand, careful not to startle it. Slowly, the dragon shifted its head, studying him. Its nostrils flared, and it hissed softly, but it did not move away. Elias smiled slightly. "You've been abandoned," he said quietly. "By everyone who was supposed to care for you. But I won't abandon you." The dragon tilted its head, almost as if it understood. Its small, sharp claws scraped the floor, and its wings shivered. Elias knew that gaining its trust would not be easy. But he had seen creatures like this before, scared, alone, and judged by others. And he knew one thing clearly, fear would not save it. Courage would. He carefully opened the crate and knelt beside it. The dragon recoiled slightly at first but did not attack. Elias spoke softly, repeating the same words over and over, letting it hear the calmness in his voice. The alien medics watched from a distance, clicking to each other in disbelief. They had never seen a human act like this, not when something seemed so dangerous. Hours passed, and Elias worked patiently. He cleaned the minor wounds he could reach, wrapped its broken wing in a soft bandage, and even coaxed it to drink a small amount of water. The dragon's breathing grew steadier. Its eyes, once wide with fear, now watched him with curiosity. Finally, Elias leaned back and wiped sweat from his forehead. The dragon lay quietly, its body tense but no longer shaking violently. The aliens remained silent, unsure what to do, still afraid and skeptical. "You see," Elias said gently. "It is not evil. It is hurt. It is scared. And it needs someone to believe in it." For the first time in the room, the dragon hissed softly, not in anger, but almost like a sigh of relief. Elias smiled. He knew this was only the beginning. The real challenge was yet to come. He would have to convince the aliens, and perhaps even himself, that sometimes courage mattered more than fear. And in that quiet, cold medical bay, the dragon looked at him with something like hope. And for Elias, that was enough to start fighting for its life. Elias had never seen the alien medics so silent. They watched him work with the dragon as if they were seeing something impossible. Their expressions were sharp, cold, and unchanging, but he could feel their judgment in every movement. They were thinking it was reckless for a human to risk so much for a creature they called dangerous. Yet Elias did not care. He moved slowly, speaking softly to the dragon. "I know it hurts," he said. "But I won't let them leave you to die." The dragon's head shifted slightly, as if it recognized the difference in tone. It hissed quietly but did not lash out. Elias felt a small spark of hope. One of the alien medics finally stepped forward, clicking his claws nervously. "You do not understand," it said sharply. "This creature is cursed. You cannot help it. You will be injured if you try." Elias shook his head. "I understand it better than you think. Fear does not heal wounds. Courage does. And this creature has more life in it than any of you realize." The alien clicked again, louder this time, like a warning. "Humans are reckless. You cannot change what is beyond repair. Leave now, or face consequences." Elias stood his ground. He looked around the medical bay. Machines beeped softly. Lights flickered in a dull rhythm. The dragon lay on the floor, trembling but alive. He could not leave it. He had seen creatures like this before, abandoned and left to die because others were too afraid to act. "I will not leave," he said simply. "You can try to stop me, but I will save it. That is what I do." The alien medics hissed and clicked among themselves. Some moved back, uncertain, but none tried to touch Elias. They had never seen a human act with such calm determination in the face of danger. For them, logic and fear always ruled. But Elias had something they did not: faith in life, in courage, in doing what was right even when it was dangerous. Elias knelt beside the dragon again. Its scales were rough and cold under his hands. Its wings trembled, one bent awkwardly, and its eyes were wide with pain and fear. He reached out slowly, brushing a finger along its snout. The dragon flinched at first but did not move away. "You're not alone anymore," he whispered. "I'm here. I won't let them leave you." The dragon hissed softly, almost as if it understood. It curled slightly closer, its body still tense but less afraid. Elias felt a small relief. The first step toward trust had been taken. Hours passed. Elias did not leave the dragon's side. He cleaned its wounds carefully, wrapped bandages, and adjusted its broken wing. Every movement was slow and gentle. The dragon hissed and shifted occasionally, but never attacked. He talked to it constantly, repeating the same words, showing it that he was not like the others. The alien medics whispered among themselves. Some clicked angrily, others seemed confused. None of them understood why a human would care so much about a creature they called dangerous. To them, life was measured in usefulness and risk. To Elias, life was more than that. Every creature deserved a chance, no matter how strange, scary, or different it seemed. At one point, an alien stepped forward and hissed, "You are wasting your time. It will die. Your efforts are meaningless." Elias looked at the dragon and then back at the alien. His green eyes were steady. "It may die. But it will die knowing someone cared. That is more than your fear will ever give it." The alien clicked angrily and stepped back. Elias smiled faintly. He did not need their approval. What mattered was the creature in front of him, scared and hurt, but alive. By night, the dragon had calmed slightly. Its breathing was steadier, and its body no longer shook violently. Elias had coaxed it into drinking some water and even feeding it a small piece of alien fruit. It was not much, but it was enough to keep it alive. He stayed by its side, leaning against the crate, watching it sleep lightly. As he rested, Elias thought about why he had chosen to help. He remembered other times when humans had risked everything to protect the weak or the scared. History was full of it, and now it was his turn. Fear might stop others, but courage could change everything. He would not let fear win, not now, not ever. In the quiet of the medical bay, Elias made a silent promise. He would not leave this creature. He would fight for it, even if the whole galaxy thought he was foolish. Because sometimes, courage was the only thing that mattered. The dragon stirred slightly, shifting its head toward him. Its eyes looked into his, small but bright, as if it had felt the promise. Elias reached out and gently touched its head again. "Tomorrow, we fight together," he whispered. "We will show them that life is worth saving, no matter what they say." And for the first time, the dragon seemed to understand. Its hiss was softer, almost a whisper of trust. Elias knew that the real battle was only beginning, not against the aliens, not against the wounds, but against doubt and fear. He would win it with patience, courage, and a human heart that refused to give up. For now, though, the dragon was alive, and Elias had taken the first step toward changing its fate. The next morning, Elias entered the medical bay before anyone else. The dragon lay in the crate, curled up but awake. Its eyes followed him as he moved, cautious and watchful. Elias carried a small kit, tools and medicines adapted for creatures of many kinds. He knew this first attempt would be the hardest. The dragon had been abandoned before, and trust could not be forced. He knelt carefully beside it, keeping his hands low and his voice soft. "I'm here again," he said. "I will not hurt you. Today, we try to make you stronger." The dragon's tail twitched, and its small wings shivered. It hissed, loud and threatening, but it did not strike. Elias took a deep breath. The alien medics arrived soon after, gliding into the room with their usual clicks and sharp movements. They had been watching him all night from a distance, skeptical and curious. One of them spoke, voice harsh, "You cannot control it. You will fail. Leave it to us, or leave the room." Elias shook his head. "I am not leaving. This creature deserves a chance. And I will give it that chance." The dragon's eyes followed every word. It seemed to understand that the human was different, that he would not abandon it. Elias carefully opened the crate, speaking calmly. "Easy, easy, nothing will hurt you." Slowly, the dragon moved its head, sniffing the air, but its body remained tense. He reached for the first wound. A deep cut ran along its side, the edges blackened and raw. The dragon hissed violently, arching its back. Elias froze for a moment, then spoke in a soft, steady voice. "I know it hurts. I know you are scared. But I will help you, not harm you." His hands moved slowly, gently pressing the edges of the wound together. The dragon hissed again, but this time it did not lash out. Elias felt a small victory. The alien medics whispered angrily among themselves. "See," one hissed. "It will attack. You humans are foolish." Another clicked sharply, but none dared to approach. They had never seen patience like this. For them, strength meant force, not gentleness. Elias, however, knew something they did not: courage was more than physical. He cleaned the wound carefully, applying a healing salve of his own making. The dragon's body stiffened at first, but then it slowly relaxed. Elias continued speaking, repeating the same words over and over. "You are safe. I am here. You are not alone." Each time he spoke, the dragon's breathing grew steadier. After some time, he moved to the bent wing. It was badly injured, twisted at an angle that should have caused extreme pain. Elias examined it carefully. He applied a soft splint and wrapped it gently. The dragon hissed and flapped weakly, but it did not attack. Elias smiled faintly. Small steps, he thought. Trust grows slowly, but it grows. The dragon's eyes followed him constantly, bright with curiosity now, tinged with caution. Elias noticed subtle changes: the way it tilted its head, the way its claws dug lightly into the floor, almost as if testing the ground. It was learning that he was not a threat. He fed it a small piece of alien fruit, offering it slowly. The dragon sniffed, then took it with a careful bite. Elias's heart lifted slightly. Another small victory. The creature was beginning to respond, to cooperate. It was a fragile connection, but it existed. Hours passed, and Elias worked tirelessly. He cleaned, wrapped, and spoke to the dragon, moving with patience. Each action required careful observation, each touch measured. He learned the dragon's patterns, how it breathed, how it reacted. The alien medics continued to watch, silent and uneasy. Some clicked nervously, others leaned back, unsure of what they were seeing. A human, they thought, risking everything for a creature they had abandoned. By evening, the dragon was calmer. Its breathing was steadier, and it lay still, watching Elias with wide, intelligent eyes. Elias leaned back, exhausted but satisfied. He had completed the first attempt at healing it. It was far from recovery, but it had survived the day, and it had begun to trust him. He looked around at the aliens. Some had left the room quietly, unable to understand his methods. Others still watched, their expressions hard and unreadable. Elias did not seek their approval. What mattered was the creature before him, alive and starting to believe that someone cared. The dragon shifted slightly, curling closer to the crate's edge, as if offering Elias a small acceptance. He reached out gently, brushing a finger along its scaled snout. It flinched, then remained still. For the first time, Elias felt that the dragon might survive. "I know it's hard," he whispered. "But we are going to make it through this together. They do not understand, but we do. You and I, we will prove that courage matters." The room grew quiet. Machines hummed softly. The dragon, once wild and frightened, now seemed to relax slightly in his presence. Elias leaned against the crate, speaking softly, watching over it as night fell. He knew tomorrow would bring more challenges, harder tests, and perhaps dangers that he could not yet see. But he also knew something else. This dragon, abandoned and feared by all, had a chance because of him. Human courage had made the first move, and it was enough to start a bond no alien logic could break. In that quiet, dimly lit medical bay, Elias whispered again, "We are in this together. You will not be abandoned again." The dragon blinked slowly, and for a moment, Elias thought he saw something like trust in its eyes. It was small, fragile, but it was real. And that night, as the lights dimmed and the aliens left, Elias kept watch. He knew the true test had only just begun, but the first attempt had already changed everything. The dragon had survived the day, and that was the first step toward changing its fate. The morning light spilled through the windows of the medical bay, casting long shadows across the floor. The dragon was awake, its eyes sharp and alert, watching Elias as he entered. He carried his kit again, ready for the next stage of care. He had gained the creature's trust slowly, but today would test both of them. As he approached, a loud alarm sounded through the outpost. Red lights flashed. The aliens rushed in, their claws clicking sharply, their voices tense. "Contain the creature," one hissed. "It is unstable. It could strike at any moment." Elias turned quickly to see the dragon's wings flare in panic. It hissed and backed into the crate, trembling. Outside the bay, the source of the alarm became clear. A group of scavenger aliens had entered the outpost, looking for a rare specimen. The dragon, already weak and scared, would be in danger if they reached it. Without thinking, Elias stepped between the dragon and the door. "Stay behind me," he said calmly, though his heart pounded. "I won't let them harm you." The scavenger aliens burst into the room. They were tall and cruel-looking, with sharp eyes and claws meant for tearing flesh. Their leader hissed, "That creature belongs to us. Hand it over." Elias held up his hands. "No. It is injured. You will not take it. Leave now, or face consequences." The alien medics behind him whispered in fear. Some urged him to run. Others seemed frozen, unsure what a human would do against the scavengers. Elias did not hesitate. His courage was not reckless, it was purposeful. He positioned himself between the dragon and the intruders, ready to defend it at all costs. The dragon watched him. Its small body was tense, but something shifted in its eyes. Elias could see that it understood, he was on its side. He spoke softly. "We are together. Trust me." The leader of the scavengers lunged, claws out. Elias moved quickly, dodging and pulling the dragon closer behind him. The creature hissed and flapped its wings in panic, but it stayed close. Elias grabbed a medical tool, not as a weapon, but as a deterrent. He stood firm, breathing steadily, letting the alien see that he would not back down. Hours seemed to pass in moments. The scavengers tested him, trying to scare him away. They knocked over equipment, hissed threats, and circled the room like predators. But Elias did not waver. Every time the dragon shifted nervously, he spoke calmly, reassuring it. "It's okay. You're safe with me. Stay calm." Slowly, the dragon began to respond. It flapped its wings, not in panic, but in coordination with Elias's movements. It hissed loudly, its sound startling the scavengers. Its sharp tail flicked, knocking one intruder off balance. Elias realized that the creature was no longer just scared, it was learning to defend itself with him. The alien medics watched in shock. They had abandoned this dragon, refused to care for it, and now it was showing strength they could not understand. And it was human courage that had brought it to life. Finally, the scavenger leader hissed angrily and signaled a retreat. The creatures backed out, snarling, clearly frustrated and surprised. Elias let out a breath he didn't know he was holding. The dragon lowered its wings, its body still tense but calm enough to trust him again. Elias knelt beside it, gently brushing a hand along its scales. "You did it," he whispered. "We did it. Courage isn't just for humans, it's for anyone who refuses to give up." The dragon blinked slowly, almost like it was smiling. It nudged Elias gently, a small gesture of gratitude and trust. He smiled back. He knew the test was not over. Recovery would take time. Others would still doubt him, and danger was never far in this galaxy. But this moment was important. The dragon had survived a true threat. And it had learned, with Elias by its side, that not all beings abandoned it. That human courage could be a shield when no one else would help. Elias stood, scanning the room. The alien medics had not moved closer. Some whispered among themselves, while others simply stared. Elias did not seek their approval. What mattered was the creature's safety, and he had proven that courage, patience, and care could triumph over fear. He turned back to the dragon. "Tomorrow, we continue your treatment," he said. "And soon, you will be stronger than anyone believes." The dragon lowered its head, and Elias took the small gesture as trust. Its eyes, once full of fear and suspicion, now held a quiet intelligence and connection. They had passed the first real test, and the bond between them had grown stronger. In the quiet that followed, Elias thought about the aliens who had refused to act. They had let fear guide them. He had chosen courage instead. And courage, he realized, was not just about facing danger, it was about protecting those who could not protect themselves. The dragon shifted again, nuzzling closer to him. Elias smiled. It was not much, but it was enough. They had survived the day, and the real battle, healing the dragon and proving its worth, was only beginning. For the first time, Elias felt certain of one thing: human courage could change fate, even for a creature abandoned by all. And together, they would face whatever came next. The days that followed were quiet but full of small victories. The dragon's wounds slowly healed under Elias's care. Its bent wings straightened with careful support, and its breathing grew strong and steady. Each day, Elias watched the creature closely, speaking softly, offering food, water, and patience. He had learned its habits, how it responded to touch, how it flinched at loud noises, and when it needed reassurance. The alien medics continued to observe from a distance. Some whispered among themselves, clearly surprised by the dragon's progress. Others clicked angrily, unwilling to admit that a human had succeeded where they had refused. Elias ignored them. He did not need their approval. What mattered was the dragon's survival and trust. One morning, Elias entered the bay to find the dragon awake and alert, stretching its wings. Its eyes met his, bright and intelligent, and for a moment, he felt a rush of pride. "You're getting stronger," he said softly. The dragon tilted its head, watching him, and then flapped its wings experimentally. It hissed, a low, almost happy sound. Suddenly, an alarm echoed through the outpost. Elias turned quickly, scanning the room. A transport drone had crashed near the entrance, and toxic fumes were spreading. The aliens began to panic. "Evacuate," they hissed. "Contain the creature." Elias did not hesitate. He grabbed the dragon's side gently. "Stay with me. We are leaving together." The creature stiffened but did not resist. It seemed to understand that Elias was its protector. He guided it toward the door, using his strength and calm voice to keep it steady. Outside, the smoke was thick, making the aliens hesitate. Some stepped back, unsure how to proceed. But Elias pressed forward, leading the dragon to safety. Its small claws dug into the ground, its tail flicking nervously, but it stayed close. He could feel the trust between them, stronger than any fear. Once they were safely away from the fumes, Elias crouched beside the dragon. "You did it," he whispered. "You survived everything because you trusted me. And I trusted you." The dragon hissed softly, nudging his hand, and Elias smiled. He knew that this bond was more than survival, it was respect, understanding, and courage shared between two different beings. The alien medics arrived shortly after, cautiously watching. They were stunned. Their advanced technology, knowledge, and fear had not been enough. A human and a creature they had deemed hopeless had survived and triumphed. Some clicked softly, almost in acknowledgement, while others turned away, unwilling to admit it. Elias stood, brushing off dust from his uniform. "Life is not about avoiding danger," he said calmly. "It's about protecting those who cannot protect themselves. Courage matters more than fear." The dragon shifted beside him, as if agreeing. It was no longer a helpless, abandoned creature. It was alive, strong, and bonded to the human who believed in it. That evening, the dragon explored the area near the outpost under Elias's careful watch. Its movements were cautious but confident. It tested its wings, flapped gently, and even let out a small roar that echoed across the field. Elias watched, heart full, knowing that the creature had grown stronger not only in body but in spirit. Days later, the dragon surprised everyone. One of the alien medics slipped near a damaged machine, sparks flying dangerously. The dragon, sensing the danger, leaped forward, blocking the medic with its wings and claws. Elias's heart raced as he watched. The alien froze, staring in shock as the creature, once considered dangerous and creepy, saved a life. Elias approached the medic carefully. "See," he said quietly. "It is not evil. It is not dangerous when treated with care and courage. It can do incredible things when someone believes in it." The alien clicked softly, almost in acknowledgement, finally understanding what Elias had been trying to show them all along. The dragon nudged Elias gently, and he smiled. This was the moment he had worked for, the proof that courage, care, and compassion could overcome fear, prejudice, and doubt. The creature that had been abandoned, feared, and misunderstood now stood as a testament to human bravery. Elias looked out at the horizon. The galaxy was full of dangers, full of beings that others would refuse to help. But he knew that humans had something special, the courage to act when no one else would, the patience to understand when others ran in fear, and the heart to protect life, no matter how strange or frightening it seemed. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Elias knelt beside the dragon one last time that day. "We did it," he said softly. "We proved that hope and courage can change everything." The dragon hissed gently and pressed its head against his shoulder. It was a small gesture, but to Elias, it was everything. In the quiet of the outpost, under the fading light, a human and a dragon sat together. One had been abandoned, the other had been judged reckless. Yet together, they had survived, grown, and proven that courage could truly change fate. And in that moment, Elias knew something no alien could ever understand fully: human courage was not just about strength. It was about heart, trust, and the willingness to stand for life when everyone else had turned away. The dragon, once feared and abandoned, was now alive, strong, and free. And it had a human by its side who would never let it fall again.